Hello and welcome. My name's Sam. Thank you for joining me for the first in this this series of practices that I've created specifically for surf skaters. Um, Today we're going to be focusing on hip flexibility, mobility, and strength, things that are all really important when it comes to surf skating or surfing. Even in general, to be honest, you could do this practice whenever, whenever you feel like it, whether you do a specific sport or not. But this is specifically tailored towards that. So, with that being said, we're going to get started. And I'm also going to say that during this practice, it might be useful if you have a regular practice, you could use some yoga blocks, which I have just over here, which I will be demoing with. If you don't have yoga blocks, it's not the end of the world. You can, if you're flexible enough, you might be fine without them. If you want to grab some books, some thick books to give you a little bit more height, or even some cans of food can work, then yeah, you can try grabbing some of those. But otherwise, we're going to get into the practice and see how we go. If you have any questions afterwards, you can always leave a comment below in the comment section, or just send me a message and I'll be happy to answer. Anyway, that being said, let's get started. So we're just going to start by coming to find a comfortable seat on your mat or your carpet or wherever you are, just making sure that you've got some space around you. Okay, closing down your eyes and just taking a moment to settle into the body and settle into the breath. Because while we're here for a specific reason, that's maybe more to do with the body, yoga, or the practice of yoga, does encompass so much more than that. That's also super beneficial. Helping with the breath, helping with your mindset, your well-being, all things that are super important. Just allowing everything to slow down for a moment. Feeling your sit bones, the edges of your feet as they settle into the ground. And then this gentle rebound of energy up through your spine, feeling it grow just that little bit taller with each breath in. And noticing how your shoulders just softly relax away from your ears as you breathe out. So breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And we'll continue with this breath throughout the practice, mindful breathing. Making sure you send that breath all the way down to your lower belly. Before slowly releasing back out again. Good. And then opening the eyes when you're ready. We're going to first come to a wide leg forward fold. So just extending the legs out in front of you, taking them as wide as feels comfortable. Doesn't need to be ridiculously wide. We're not trying to force anything here. We don't want to create any pain in the body. And we need to be really wary, especially when we're working with the hips and the hamstrings, that we don't overstretch anything. And because when we overstretch and we damage these things, and they can be really hard to heal and come back from. So that's why we want to do everything mindfully, with awareness, and moving into each pose nice and slowly and with control. So finding your wide-legged seat. And then the legs are slightly active here, so you want to feel like maybe your heels are pressing into the ground just a little bit and your toes are pointing up towards the sky. And there's a sensation of the thigh bones rolling outwards So rolling out externally as you sit nice and tall, and you can bring your fingertips down to the ground in front of you. Get maybe closing down the eyes if it feels comfortable, if you feel happy to do that, if you feel safe to do that. And then just slowly dropping your chin down towards your chest as you allow yourself to begin to roll forwards. And as you drop forwards a little bit more, you can begin to walk the hands away from you. And as you roll forwards, until you come forwards even more, you'll begin to feel maybe that stretch down the back of the hamstrings, so down the backs of the thighs here, and maybe the inner seam of the leg, of the inner thigh. So just taking your time to drop into this, continuing with that nice, slow, even breath into your body. Using that inhale to create space where it might need to be. And as you breathe out, you might notice yourself dropping into the fold just a little bit more, or dropping down towards the ground. And some of you may stay with your hands here supporting you. That's fine if that feels good for you. You might start to bend the elbows as you drop down a little bit lower. Some of you may even come down onto your forearms, depending on your flexibility. But continuing to send those nice long breaths into your belly, down into your lower belly. Releasing slowly, continuing to feel that external rotation of the thighs. Just taking a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. And then just slowly with your hands, you begin to make your way back up. Bring the hands back in towards you. You can bend the knees one at a time, so bring the soles of the feet onto the ground, still with the legs wide, and bring your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing away from you. And we're going to take a few windscreen wipers here. So as you exhale, dropping your knees over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. One more each side. Exhale, left, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Good. Coming back to center. We're going to drop the knees back over to the right again. So coming into this 90-90 position, if you're on a mat, then your right shin is going to be parallel with the front of your mat, and your left thigh is going to be parallel with your right shin. We want to try and keep the feet flexed here as well. So feet are active, protecting the ankles, protecting the joints. Fingertips on the ground, taking a moment to find some length through the spine as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, walking the hands forwards. Coming to fold over your right shin. And again, just coming to that level. It feels like it's enough. You'll know because you'll begin to feel it in your body. There's little sensations that start to appear. And taking your time to drop in, not coming in too deep, too quickly. And again, maybe you stay here with the hands down. Maybe you come down with your forearms. If you're super flexible, you may even place the hands one on top of the other and allow the forehead to rest on your hands. Wherever you are, staying with the breath. And seeing if with each exhale you can allow yourself to drop in just a little bit deeper. Melting down towards the ground. Good, just taking one more breath here. And slowly bring yourself back up, using your hands to support you, walking the hands back in towards you. Bring that right hand behind you, left hand behind you, knees back through center, and then we'll take that same position on the other side. This time you'll be facing the back of your mat, again, if you're on a mat. So left shin parallel with the mat, right thigh parallel with the left shin, feet flexed, sitting nice and tall. And this might feel a little bit different than the other side. We're never even on each side of our body. So just noticing if one side feels a little bit tighter or feels a little bit more open than the other. Inhaling to find some length through the spine, and then exhaling to walk the hands forwards as you fold over that left shin. Coming down as far as feels comfortable for you, moving in slowly. Noticing where you feel the sensations in your body, a gentle stretch, a gentle opening. And maybe resting your forehead on your hands. If you feel like it's doable for you to come in a little bit deeper, but just meeting yourself where you're at, not forcing anything. Staying with your breath. Dropping in a little bit deeper with each breath out, almost like a letting go, where you feel your muscles relax a little bit more, soften and give way a little bit more. Good. Slowly bring yourself back up again. Again, using the hands to support you. Moving slowly, moving mindfully. Bring your left hand behind you, followed by your right. Bring your knees back to center. And then we're going to make our way into an all fours tabletop position. So coming to find all fours on your mat. So making sure that your shoulders are stacked above your wrists, your hips are stacked above your knees. So you want your knees about hip distance apart. Making sure the fingers are spread nice and wide so we have a good foundation through the hands, the palms of your hands pressing into the mat, the knuckles of your fingers pressing into the mat. Your toes can either be tucked or pointed away depending on how it feels in your knees. So do what feels most comfortable for you. We're going to move through a few cat-cows here. So as you inhale, lowering your belly down towards the ground, tilting your tailbone up towards the ceiling, shining your heart forwards, gazing forwards. And then as you exhale, pressing your hands into the ground, rounding through your spine, tucking your chin down towards your chest. And as you keep pressing your hands into the earth, you create that space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, lower the belly, gaze forwards, and then exhaling to round. And you might even like to close down the eyes here so you can really feel into the full length of your spine. Exhale, round. We'll just take 2 more of these. Good, last one. Next, inhale, coming to a neutral spine, nice flat back. Okay, so staying with our tabletop, I'm actually going to turn around so that you can see where we're going with this one a little bit more easily. So staying with your tabletop, we're going to extend the right leg out to the side. So we want this right foot in line with the left knee, and we want the right toes pointing forwards. And the whole sole of your foot is pressing into the ground. So we're not coming onto the arch, we're trying to ground down also through the blade edge of the right foot. Bring the weight into your left hand. On an inhale, the right arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling. We'll open through the heart. And as you exhale, you're going to thread this right arm through the gap between your left arm and your left thigh, really reaching your fingertips away from you as you exhale fully. As you inhale and come back through center, you're going to bring your right heel in, so your right toes now point out, bringing your right hand to the inside of your right knee, and then slowly bending the right knee, feeding into that stretch in the inner thigh. Good. Inhale, come back to center, so straightening through the leg again, squaring off the foot. Exhale, thread your right arm through the gap, reach your fingertips away from you. Inhale, come back to center, turning the foot. Exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale, back to center, straightening your legs, squaring off the foot. Exhale, reach. Inhale, center. Exhale, bend the knee, opening out through the hip. Do one more. Inhale, center. Exhale, thread the arm. Inhale, center. Exhale. Good. Inhale, bring your right hand back down onto the ground. Right knee back, coming back to your all fours. And if this wrist is feeling a little bit sensitive now, maybe just giving it a little release, a circle of the wrist, maybe placing the top of your hand onto the ground and taking a little rock back and forth. Good. And so then bringing the left hand down, so sending yourself back up in your all fours. This time, sending the left leg out to the side, toes pointing forwards, grounding down through the sole of the foot, bringing the weight into the right hand. Inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale, thread the arm through the gap. Fingertips reaching away from you as you breathe out fully. Inhale, center, turning your left toes out. Exhale. Inhale, center, straighten the leg, toes point forwards. Exhale, thread the arm through the gap, reach the fingertips away from you. Inhale, center. Exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach. We'll do one more. Inhale, center. Toes pointing away. Pressing your knee out to the side as you bend the knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach. Inhale, center. Last time. Inhale, center, bringing the left hand down, coming back to all fours, releasing a little bit through that right wrist, a few circles, or bringing the top of the hand onto the ground, a little rock back and forth. Nice. So from your all fours, we're going to bring the hands just one hand span in front, fingers spread nice and wide, tucking the toes. So we press evenly into the hands, lifting the knees off the ground and sending the hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. So here it might feel nice in this first downward dog to pedal out through the feet a little bit. So bending the knees one at a time, feeling into the soles of your feet, into the backs of your calves. And as your hands ground down into the mat, you might feel your shoulder blades spreading across your back, eventually coming to find some stillness here in this downward dog. Allow your neck to be relaxed and your head to hang heavy, and the knees can be bent slightly as well, and the heels do not have to touch the ground. Here what we're looking for is a nice long spine, so those sit bones tilting up towards the sky. On an inhale, that right leg is gonna sweep up towards the ceiling. And then exhaling to shift the shoulders forwards, stepping the foot between the hands. If the foot doesn't quite make it there, we can take the right hand to the back of the foot, the back of the heel, and just give it a little nudge forwards. So we're going to drop the back knee down. And here, if you've got your blocks and you'd like to bring the blocks in, now could be a really good time to use them. Otherwise, bringing fingertips onto the ground. So just taking a moment to ensure that your right knee is stacked above your right ankle. And then inhaling, as you shine your heart forwards, let the tops of your shoulders kind of gently draw back away from your ears. And allow your hips to sink down towards the ground. Good. On an exhale, you're going to start to shift the hips back, straightening through that right leg, and you might shift the blocks back a little bit as well. And maybe flexing through that right foot. So if you can see here, I've got my right toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, bend the knee, bring it forwards again. Exhale, send it back. Remember, not forcing anything, just going as far as feels like your edge into your stretch. Inhale, bring it forwards. Allow the hips to sink down. And then exhale, take it back. Good. Inhale, bring it forwards. This time we're going to hold it here. So if you haven't got the blocks, you might want to bring the whole palm of your hand down onto the ground because we need to be really stable here. Stable through the hands. We're going to untuck the back toes and press the top of the foot into the mat so that your knee lifts off the ground, lifts away from the ground. And then we want to think about pressing this foot into the ground and feeling like we're dragging it forwards. And as we do this, what we're doing is, as well as strengthening or as well as lengthening the front hip flexor, we're also strengthening it. This is an active stretch. So breathing here. Keep dragging the top of your foot forwards. Finding that support through your hands and through your right foot as well. Nice, slow, controlled breaths. This is hard work. Good, and then slowly lowering your left knee back down towards the ground. So we could now maybe just bring the blocks to one side if we're using them. Bring the left hand down onto the ground. On an inhale, that right arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling. Finding an easy twist here. And then heel toeing the right foot out to the edge of your mat. You're going to bring your right hand to the inside of your right knee. Lift your right toes so that you create this S shape in your foot. And as you exhale, you're gently going to press your right knee out to the side. So opening through the hip, coming onto the blade edge of your right foot. Maybe leaning back just a little bit. Breathing here, staying with your breath. Very deep hip openers. Good. Exhale, slowly release. Bring your right hand down onto the ground. Tuck your back toes. Press into your hands. Lift your back knee. Step your right foot all the way back to a downward facing dog. And just taking a moment here in your downward dog to notice the difference between left and right side of the body, especially around the hips. So we're going to take all of that on the other side. On your next inhale, left leg rises. Exhale to shift the shoulders forwards and slowly step the foot between the hands. Again, if it doesn't quite make it there, we can take the left hand to the back of the left heel, give it a nudge forwards and drop the back knee down. So bringing in your blocks, if you have them, if you're using them. Otherwise, fingertips on the ground. Inhale to look forwards, find length through your spine. Allow your hips to kind of drop down and forwards a little bit so that we're opening down the front of that right side. On an exhale, sending the hips back, straightening through that left leg just as far as feels comfortable. Maybe those left toes pointing towards the sky. Inhale to bend the knee, shift the weight forwards. Exhale, take it back. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Good. Inhale forwards. Then really bringing the whole palm of the hand either onto the ground or onto the block. We untuck the back toes. So making sure again this left knee is stacked above the left ankle. So the top of the right foot now is pressing into the ground. You lift the back knee off the ground and then feeling like you're dragging that right foot forwards, pressing it into the ground and dragging it forwards. Breathing here. Feeling into all those little wobbles and shakes. Means your body is working hard. Good. Exhale, slowly lower that back knee down onto the ground. We'll pop the blocks to one side. Right hand coming down onto the mat. Inhale as left arm reaches up. Reaching those fingertips away from you. You're starting to heel toe the left foot out to the edge of your mat. Left hand comes down to the inside of your left knee. Lifting your left toes, creating that S shape. This helps protect the ankle so that it doesn't sickle. And as you exhale, pressing your knee open, coming onto the blade edge of your left foot. Maybe leaning back a little bit, allowing the hips to sink down towards the ground. Staying with your breath. Beautiful. Exhale. Left hand comes back down onto the ground, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee and stepping it back to a downward facing dog. Just taking a moment here now to notice how the body might feel a little bit more even. Hopefully things feel a little bit more even, a bit more balanced out. And very slowly, you're going to begin to walk your hands all the way back towards your feet. So feet are still hip distance apart. And we're going to pause in a forward fold here, ragdoll. So you can take opposite hand, opposite elbow. Feeling the whole sole of your foot rooting into the ground. And just allowing yourself to sway from side to side. Your knees can be bent here. Your belly can rest on your thighs. Let your arms be heavy. Let your head be heavy. Good. Slowly releasing fingertips down towards the ground. And heel toeing the feet out to the edges of the mat. So we want the heels in slightly and the toes pointing outwards. We're going to start to lower the hips down towards the ground, bending through the knees, coming into a squat. So we can start by rocking from side to side, so lifting one heel at a time. And if it feels like too much to come all the way down, you can always come here as well. Eventually, see if we can get down nice and low, that tailbone heavy down towards the ground. Bring your palms together and just gently pressing your elbows into the inside of your knees, finding length through your spine. Beautiful. And then we're going to do a little bit of hip mobility here. So reaching the arms out in front, your feet nice and grounded. So on an exhale, you're going to tap your right knee down towards the ground. Your back heel might lift off the ground slightly as you come onto the ball of your big toe. Inhale, come back to starting point. Exhale, left knee taps down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right knee taps. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left. We're going to do 3 more each side. Exhale, right. Left. 2 more. Last one. Amazing. Coming back to your Malasana, bringing your palms together, close down your eyes for a moment. Come back to your breath. Beautiful. Releasing fingertips back down towards the ground, beginning to lift the hips, heel toe the feet back to hip distance apart, and coming into a forward fold. We're going to start to walk the hands back towards the top of the mat. So coming back to a downward facing dog. And then bringing both knees back onto the mat. And we're going to come back to all fours. We've got one last little hip mobility sequence. So again here, you might find that using the blocks helps give you a little bit more space. So bring in the blocks. I'll show you what this looks like in the first round. So with the hands or wrists below the shoulders. On an inhale, you're going to take your right knee out to the side. And then begin to circle it round so your right knee comes to the outside of your right shoulder. And you bring your right foot in front of your left thigh, bringing your right shin down towards the ground. And then exhale to bring your hips back. Reach your arms forwards. Inhale, bring it forwards again, so lift the hips. And exhale back to all fours. Okay, we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, circle the right knee up and round. So right knee to meet your right shoulder, crossing the right leg in front of your left thigh. Exhale, send the hips back. Inhale, bring it forwards. And exhale, uncross the legs, come back to all fours. One last time. Inhale. Exhale, send the hips back. Inhale, come forwards. And then exhale, back to all fours. So one last time now. Inhale, circle the right knee out to the side, crossing that right leg in front. This time we're going to stay here. We're going to shift the left shin over to the right a little bit and walking the hands back. We're going to sit the hips or sit the bum down onto the ground. So this can be pretty intense, this shoelace position. We want both edges of the feet, so the outer edges of the feet on the ground and the toes pointing outwards. If this feels way too intense, you can always extend the left leg, so the bottom leg, out underneath you and bring it out in front. Okay, this is also a perfectly good option. So if you need to do that, if you're not feeling comfortable, this is a good option. Otherwise, staying with me, just taking a moment here with fingertips on the ground, inhaling to find length through your spine. And then you're going to turn your ribs to the right. So bring your right fingertips behind you and your left arm to rest on your right knee. Inhale, find length. Crown of the head, reaching up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, just finding a little bit more of a twist, maybe gazing over that right shoulder. I've been doing a lot of opening through the hips, so actually this pose can be quite nice to help close things a little bit. Inhale, center, and exhale, just bringing it to the other side for a brief counter twist. Good. Inhale, center. And then any way you like, if you had the bottom leg extended out in front of you, you can just make your way. We're just coming back to all fours. If you want to come with me and you're still in your shoelace position, bring the hands in front of you, rolling onto the knees, walking the hands forwards. I'm going to pop these out of the way for a moment and crossing the legs back to your all fours. And then we're going to do that whole sequence again on the other side. So this time I'm going to demo it without the blocks. Obviously, if you have blocks and they were helpful before, then please continue to use them. So when you're ready, inhale as left knee lifts off the ground out to the side, circles round, left knee to reach the outside of your left shoulder, crossing your left foot in front of your right thigh, pressing through your hands as you send your hips back on the exhale. Inhale, shift forwards, uncross the legs, and exhale back to all fours. 2 more times. Inhale, circle that left knee round. Exhale, send the hips back. Inhale, bring it forwards. And exhale to uncross back to all fours. 1 last time. Inhale, big circle with your left knee. Exhale, send the hips back. Inhale, bring it forwards. And exhale, uncross back to all fours. This time, as we inhale and cross the left foot in front of right thigh, we're going to shift that right shin over to the left slightly, walk the hands back towards the knees, sit the bum down. My sit bones should be rooted on the mat again, and this might feel different on this side. One side might feel a little bit easier than the other. So just go with whatever. If you had both legs crossed this time, but this feels really uncomfortable and this time you need to extend the right leg out in front of you, so the bottom leg, then feel free to do that. Otherwise, staying with the right leg underneath. Again, taking an inhale, finding some length through your spine. Bringing your left hand behind you, left fingertips behind you, turning your ribs to the left. And bringing your right arm to rest on your left knee, finding a twist. Coming back to those nice slow breaths. Think of each inhale helping you to create space in your body. And each exhale allows you to receive or to drop into the pose a little bit more. Good. On an inhale, coming back to center, and then exhale to take it over to the right. Breathe, counter twist. Inhale, center. And this time, nothing fancy. And crossing the legs. Just shifting yourself back to the center of your mat. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. Arms reaching forwards. And on an exhale, very slowly lowering yourself all the way down onto your back. And when you come down onto your back, if there's any other little movements that you feel like your body needs before we come to our final rest, then you can take them now. Maybe even just taking the feet as wide as the mat, coming back to those windscreen wipers. So dropping the knees over to one side, bringing it back to center, and then dropping to the other side. Be a nice release after all the hip work we've been doing. But whenever you're ready, I'm going to invite you to come to find your Shavasana, so your final resting pose. So extending the legs out on the ground, allowing your body to take up space. Your palms facing the ceiling. Your chin just gently drawing down towards your chest so the back of your neck is long. And with each exhale, you feel yourself drop into the ground just a little bit more. Fully surrendering, allowing yourself to be held. Allowing yourself to be still. Both body and mind. Letting your forehead, your brow relax a little bit more. Letting your eyeballs be heavy in the sockets. A small gap between the teeth. And if you like, you might want to stay here for just a little bit longer, a few more minutes, or however long you like to or you have to rest here. Otherwise, coming with me and just hugging the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a nice big hug. Maybe a little rock from side to side, massaging out the spine. Eventually just allowing yourself to land on your favorite side, curled up into a little ball. Taking this moment to thank yourself for carving out this time to practice. Slowly bringing yourself up to a comfortable seat, so back where we started, and keeping the eyes closed or the gaze soft if you can. Nice tall spine. Bring your fingertips down onto the ground beside you, and as you breathe in, take the arms out and up, reaching your fingertips up towards the ceiling, bringing your palms together, exhaling to draw the hands down towards the heart space. Little bow of the head down towards your fingertips. Thank you for sharing your time and your energy with me. Hope you enjoyed this practice, and I hope to see you again for another one soon. Take care.